Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's astrologer Eric Rosen for Viking Rising Astrology for Friday, January 5th, 2024. Thanks so much for being here. Well, we are rounding out that moon in Libra. We're coming into moon in Scorpio, so things can get a little intense on the emotional front, but it depends where you're at. I think if we can use our emotional intensity to get things done now with Mars in Capricorn, of course, the sun is here as well. And, plans are important. We've got to be able to have the structure and knowing what we're doing. But it's like remembering something I learned when I was a construction manager. It's like when they make iron, it comes from the ore of the earth. And iron naturally wants to deteriorate. It starts off as rusting and eventually it rusts away. It wants to go back to its natural element. That's the design. And so it's the understanding that the structures that we're using in our lives are only meant to serve the purpose in order to create the magic that wants to happen. That Saturn, I think, in Pisces is reminding us of that, that we only need the structure for the magic to really flow with things. Jupiter now direct and Uranus still retrograde. We're still looking at how we can do things better and still maintaining a positive vision for our life. It's piggybacking off that Venus that's in Sagittarius, as well as that Mercury that's in its post shadow, integrating a lot of stuff that we learn. And I think the embodiment piece is the most important. When I look at this astrology overall, it's actually designed to be pretty grounded, to not get too flighty with things. And I think we just don't need to get bogged down with trying to understand past mental hurts or how's this gonna go different. I think this is sometimes where doubts trickle in. Everyone has their own subconscious way of how they deal with things, instead of just soaring and just going for it and just doing the Capricorn walk right now and just making it all happen. Pluto at the end of Capricorn is kind of a depressing energy to try to say, hey, can you really get this started? Is it really going to work? And it's what? It reminds me of planting dynamite in strategic places, even if it doesn't blossom overnight, even if it takes till the springtime, like I've been saying. It's what? Plant the seeds, plant the dynamite anyway. That dynamite, that destructive element's a good thing. It's blowing away our own subconscious programming of, I would say this astrology is partially what we think is possible. And then also, the past predictive elements of disappointment, everything from our own stuff that's happened in our own lives, especially since '08, but maybe even our whole lives, and how that brings up the subconscious. And it could even get into past life stuff too. It's we overcome all that but simply by raising the pirate flag and saying, what, the rest of the collective is doing this. Yes, we all got to kind of march to the beat of a certain drum, because it's if you step too far out of unison, people start thinking you're too weird or you're too different. This is about the Capricorn thing. It's how do you still put yourself in a position where you're seen, you're still professional, you're getting things done, you're still able to, walk into the proverbial boardroom and just really just make it all happen. So this is definitely not an astrology to get too flighty, too airy, too woo with things, like too spiritual, and just make sure that we're bringing the spiritual mysticism, to breathe life into our creations of what we're creating and the things that we're doing and the positivity and the partnerships, and definitely not trying to force any sort of partnership or a bond or a money contract situation, just anything like that. It's you just levitate your own energy and keep putting the physical creation in. Do not waste this good astrology for getting things accomplished and actually, I'd say, getting out of our own way. It's finding that actually, we did have the strength. We do have the strength, even if it feels like there's sensitivities to actually move things forward. And it's not from a place of force or exertion. It's just from a positive, inspirational place, and intuitively still listening, paying attention to what Spirit is saying, and making sure that we're making it happen. And that, I would say skipping the steps, and falling back down the ladder and then having to raise our positivity or vibration back up and catch that momentum again, running into blocks and delays is really just our own spiritual delusion of thinking that we can do it on our own ego. And sometimes just, it reminds me of manifesting and praying for what we want, but then not listening to Spirit along the way for, the flow of things and actually how to get things done. It's the more we tap into that, the more we bring the mystical spiritual into this reality, the more fluid it is, the more positive it is. The more that it's not, the more that we're just looking at how we can do better. So that's a positive. His spirit is always like, shining that reflective light at like what we could do better. But, I think that it can be more of a quality experience, and the lessons aren't so hard, and they can stay positive even if we do kind of fall off the mark for a moment with whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish. So hopefully it's a good day for you all. If you guys want to get your own private astrology reading, please pop into that link down in that bio down below. Love to schedule that with you, get you geared up for your 2024, whatever you want to solve, your relationships, your business situations, finance, even just identity, mapping out 2024. There's no shortage of different ranges and aspects that we can go to with that. All right, I'll see you guys on the next horoscope. Take care. Peace.